Preparing for CSIR NET Life Science 2024 can be challenging, but focusing on the right units can make all the difference. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tanushree, and in this video, I will guide you through the most important units that will help you ace the CSIR NET Life Science exam and boost your confidence. Start your exam preparation by going through CSIR NET Life Science syllabus. Now, the most challenging aspect of CSIR NET Life Science exam is its extensive syllabus, which spans 13 units, covering a wide array of topics. CSIR NET Life Sciences include biochemistry, cell biology, molecular biology, cell communication and cell signaling, developmental biology, system physiology plant and animal, genetics, diversity of life forms, ecology, evolution, applied biology, and methods in biology, which include several techniques and their applications. CSIR NET Life Science exam seeks to test the basic biology knowledge of students in nearly all these branches, which CSIR NET aspirants need to master to score well in the exam. Thus, every unit in the syllabus can be considered necessary. But the biggest mistake CSIR NET aspirants make is attempting to study everything. For an exam like CSIR NET, smart studying is crucial. Begin your CSIR NET exam preparation by selecting 8 to 9 units based on your academic background, expertise, and interests. This means that you can skip 3 to 4 units which you are unfamiliar with or disinterested in. So let's understand about each unit in detail, which will help you choose the ones that will boost your chances of success. Starting with the units which is must for you to study. These units are Unit 1, that is molecules and interactions relevant to biology. Unit 2, cellular organization. Unit 3, fundamental processes. And Unit 4, cell communication and cell signaling. Unit 1 of CSIR NET Life Science syllabus deals with biochemistry as a whole. In this unit, you study about structure of atoms, molecules and chemical bonds. You study about composition, structure and function of biomolecules like nucleic acids, proteins, amino acids, lipids and vitamins. Then you study about stabilizing interactions like van der Waals electrostatic, hydrogen bonding, hydrophobic interactions and more. Then you study about principles of biophysical chemistry. That is, you study about pH, buffer, reaction kinetics, thermodynamics, colligative properties. You study about bioenergetics and about glycolysis, oxidative phosphorylation, biological energy transducers, group transfer, coupled reaction. Then subunit F is all about enzymes. So here you study about the principle of catalysis, about enzymes kinetics, enzyme regulation, mechanism of enzyme catalysis, about isozymes. Then subunit G is about conformation of proteins. So here you study about the different structure of proteins like secondary structure, primary structure, tertiary, quaternary. You study about domains, folds, about Ramachandran plot. Subunit H is about conformation of nucleic acids. So here you study about the helix, A, B and Z form of nucleic acid, transfer RNA, microRNA. Then stability of proteins and nucleic acids you study in subunit I, and subunit J is about metabolism of carbohydrate, lipids, amino acid, nucleotides and vitamins. So unit 1 is one of the most important unit, as you can expect a good number of questions from this unit, both in part B and part C. Like around from part B 17.41% and 8% of questions from part C is always expected. I won't say this is being the toughest unit in your syllabus, but I would say one thing for sure, that without this unit it's difficult to clear the CSIR NET Life Science exam. because this particular unit has connectivity to various other units from the syllabus. Like for instance, here you study about the basics of nucleic acids, right? So if you don't know the structure of nucleic acid, how will you understand replication? If you don't know the structure of proteins, how will you understand translation? The processes which you study in Unit 3, the fundamental processes which you study in Unit 3. And also, without the knowledge of the biomolecules, their structure, their composition, their function, how you're going to understand the techniques that are involved behind it. So skipping this unit is a big blunder. So always begin your preparation with Unit 1, and there is a reason this unit is kept first in the syllabus, because it is all about basics. So it is must for you to study Unit 1. Another unit is Unit 2, cellular organization. So once you're done with Unit 1, move over to Unit 2, which deals with cellular organization. And if you look here, in comparison to Unit 1, Unit 2 has fewer topics, fewer subunits and topics. So here you study about the membrane structure and function. You study here about the organelles, like you study about mitochondria, you study about chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, vacuoles and more. And also you study here about organization of genes and chromosomes, cell division and cell cycle, and microbial physiology. So basically this unit covers the topic which you simply need to memorize. So basically it's all about how you can effectively grasp a concept. And this Unit 2, it carries a weightage of 25 to 30 marks. And out of A to E subunit, specifically subunit C and D are totally unavoidable. Because without understanding the genome organization, without understanding this concept, how you can understand about fundamental processes which you study in Unit 3. So for example, if you need to study about operon, which is actually a part of Unit 3, but if you are aware of basics in Unit 2, then it will be easy for you to understand the concept there. Also, cell cycle regulation you study in Unit 2, but you can relate it with topics like cancer and apoptosis, which you study in Unit 4. Then once you're done with Unit 2, move over to Unit 3. So Unit 3 is about, it gives information on the fundamental processes in detail. So here you study about DNA replication, repair and recombination. You study about RNA synthesis and processing, protein synthesis and processing, control of gene expression at transcription and translation level. So this unit is important because it's a basic unit. As I told you, it gives information of fundamental processes in detail. So if basics are not clear here, you will not be able to understand the concepts from other units. So 10 to 12 questions are asked on an average in the exam. It's a very simple and scoring unit. We can expect direct statement-based questions from here. Also, questions are framed by combining the concept from other units like Unit 2, 4, 8 and 13. So as it is a simple and scoring unit, I'll suggest that you should not skip Unit 3 as well. Then Unit 4 is cell communication and cell signaling. It is all about cell biology and immunology. Unit 4 is one of the most important units for CSIR NET Life Sciences preparation, and it is highly scoring specifically from Section C perspective, Section C of CSIR NET Life Science exam. So this unit carries weightage of 14.29% in Part B and 14% in Part C. Unit 4 is divided into 5 subunits, namely host-parasite interaction, cell signaling, cell communication, cancer, innate and adaptive immune system. So a thorough study of cell biology is prerequisite for learning about cell communication. And among all the subunits A to E, like all the subunits are crucial, but specifically subunit B to E, that is cell signaling, cellular communication, cancer, innate and adaptive immune system, are particularly important and often carry more weightage in the exam. So Unit 1 to 4 are must to study for every CSIR NET Life Sciences aspirant. Now CSIR NET Unit 5, that is Developmental Biology, is again a very important unit as per the CSIR NET Life Sciences exam. It carries a good weightage. Nearly 30 plus marks of questions are asked from this unit every year. So one must not skip studying this unit at all. Now some students find it a little difficult to understand the concepts from this unit. Thus it is suggested to prepare this unit beforehand and avoid last minute study. Specifically, studying developmental biology is greatly benefited by having a clear understanding of the earlier units on cell and molecular biology during your CSIR NET Life Sciences preparation. Now, while preparing for this unit, start from the very first subunit of this unit. So, the very first subunit is about basic concepts of development. So, it is all about basics. So once you are done with the first subunit, that is subunit A, basic concepts of development, move over to next subunit. So here you can see that the subunits, they are given very systematically for this unit preparation. So there is a reason for this. Like once you are done with the basics, basic terminology related to developmental biology, then you can study about morphogenesis and organogenesis in animals as well as plants. Now if you are not comfortable in studying the entire unit, you can do selective study as well. Yes, you heard me right. Selective study can also be done for this unit. So those with the botany background, they can prepare plant developmental biology, and those candidates having the zoology background, they can prepare animal developmental biology. So at least the important topics from this unit, you must not skip. Then system physiology. So in system physiology, we have system physiology plant and system physiology animal. So you have a choice between unit 6 and 7. You need not to do both. Any one you can do. Any one system physiology you can prepare for CSIR NET Life Science exam. So if we look at unit 6, plant physiology, it is a vast unit that focuses on botany based concepts of life sciences. So for botany background students, this unit will be an advantage. And this is also the unit with the maximum marks weightage in the CSIR NET Life Science paper. Unit 6 carries a weightage of 30 to 36 marks, and the subunits A, B and C from this unit are very important. Specifically subunit A, that is photosynthesis, which is very important because every year a question do come from this topic. Then there are certain topics like electron transport chain, nitrogen metabolism, specifically from first 3 subunits, that is photosynthesis, respiration, photorespiration and nitrogen metabolism, are common with unit 1. Then unit 7 is animal physiology. While this unit may seem quite challenging and lengthy, students with zoology, physiology or medical background can make this unit a scoring advantage. Students from other educational backgrounds can also prepare for particular topics from this unit. From this unit, specifically from subunit B, that is cardiovascular system, questions are often asked. Direct questions can be asked or in combination with unit 13 techniques like ECG can also be asked. This unit carries a weightage of 5% in part B and also 5% in part C. Now students from non-botany or non-zoology background like biotechnology, biochemistry, microbiology, they have a choice between unit 6 and unit 7. So selection of any one of the unit depend on individuals' educational background, interests. Selection of any of these units depends on individuals' interests, but I'll suggest to go for unit 6 for non-botany and non-zoology background students, as the topics or concepts in this unit are not so difficult to grasp. Also, as mentioned earlier, unit 6 has more weightage in CSIR NET Life Science exam than Unit 7. Then Unit 8. Unit 8 of CSIR NET Life Sciences is all about genetics. This unit, it carries a significant weightage of 25 marks, and it's a big risk to skip this unit. It's a very scoring and interesting unit. So we all have more or less some idea about basic genetics from our +2 level. So being quite a conceptual and useful unit, you will find several connections and extensions from other units as well. So here in this unit, you study about Mendelian principles, Mendelian ratios, you study about probability, you study about concept of gene, about allele, pseudo-allele, complementation test or group, you study about extensions of Mendelian principles, you study about the terms like incomplete dominance, codominance, pleiotropy, penetrance and expressivity, epistasis. Then here you learn about how to plot a genetic map. You learn about gene mapping methods. You study about extrachromosomal inheritance, that is mitochondrial and chloroplast inheritance, mitochondrial and chloroplast gene inheritance. You study about microbial genetics, quantitative genetics. You study about mutations, structural and numerical alterations of chromosomes, and as well as recombination. From this unit, statement-based, figure-based and numerical-based questions are expected, and sometimes combination-based questions are also expected. That is the concept from Unit 8 and Unit 13. So questions are framed by combining concept from Unit 8 and 13. And Unit 12, Unit 8 and Unit 12. So for preparation for this unit, simple learning formulas and facts won't help. You need to understand the concepts well to solve questions. And the best way to prepare for Unit 8 is write and practice. Write down the ratios, learn how to determine the genotypic combinations in the progeny or phenotypes in the progeny. Practice the probability-based questions, questions on lot score, questions on gene mapping. Write and learn about the different types of structural and numerical alterations and more. So this unit syllabus contains short topics which does not require much of your time to prepare individually, but can be really confusing as you have a myriad of such short topics. So overall, Unit 8 is very scoring and interesting. So I'll suggest that you should not skip this unit. CSIR NET Unit 10 is about ecological principles, which covers a broad range of topics related to study of ecology and the principles that govern the interactions between living organisms and their environment. Unit 10 is a highly interesting and scoring unit. It carries a weightage of 5.7% in Part B and 5.3% in Part C. Mostly graph-based questions are asked in Part C of CSIR NET Life Science exam from this unit, and also the questions are asked in combination from concepts from Unit 11, that is evolution. So Unit 11 is all about evolution. Selective study can be done from this. There are certain topics in this unit which need to be understood thoroughly, but others need to be memorized. And also there are certain topics in common with Unit 10. And this unit carries a weightage of 14.29% in Part B and 6.67% in Part C. So out of these two units, Unit 10 and 11, you have a choice. So as I told you, from Unit 11, you can do selective study. But if you want to if you want to choose between these two, Unit 11 and Unit 10, so I'll suggest that ecology, that is Unit 10, is relatively easy unit where you can score excellently if you understand the concepts during your CSIR NET Life Sciences preparation. Then Unit 13. This is the last unit of CSIR NET syllabus, Unit 13, Methods in Biology, which deals with different techniques and their applications. So mostly experiment-based questions are asked from this unit that tests your research abilities. Some direct questions are also asked, especially from the subunits D to H. So here you can see in this unit you study about different techniques, like in subunit A you study about molecular cloning, you study about vectors, DNA manipulating and modifying enzymes, you study about sequencing, nucleic acid sequencing, protein sequencing, about molecular markers, about gene knockout, in vitro mutagenesis. Then subunit B, you study about histochemical and immunotechniques like radioimmunoassay, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. You study about flow cytometry, Western blotting, immunoprecipitation, immunohistochemistry, in situ hybridization techniques like fission, Gish, and more. Then in subunit C, it's all about spectroscopy techniques. In biophysical method, you study about different types of spectroscopy techniques like UV visible, infrared, fluorescence, circular dichroism, NMR spectroscopy, mass spectrometry. Then subunit D is all about statistics. Subunit E is about radio labeling techniques, where you study about radioisotopes and about different types of radioisotopes and about how you can measure the radioactivity. You study about different forms of decay and more. Then subunit F is about microscopy techniques. So here you study about different types of light and electron microscopy, about sample preparation. Then subunit G is about electrophysiological methods, where you study the techniques like magnetic resonance imaging, CT scan, ECG, EEG, PET scan, and more. And then subunit H is about methods in field biology. So questions, direct questions can be asked based on principle and application of the technique specifically in part B. However, in part C, direct questions or combination based questions can be asked. So questions can be framed by combining topics from unit 13 and unit 1 or 2 or 4 or 8 or 12. And around 12 to 14 questions in total from part B and C are asked from this unit. So there is too much to cover in this unit 13 of CSIR NET Life Science syllabus. So I'll suggest that you start preparing this unit early. So it's not that you have to start with unit 13. Once you are done with the basics, that is unit 1, 2, 3 and 4, then you can start preparing for unit 13. Then lastly, we have unit 9 and 12. I have kept these unit for last because you can skip these units or you can do selective study. So CSIR NET unit 9 is about diversity of life forms, which focuses on diversity of life forms and carries an average weightage of 20 marks in the exam. So usually around 2 to 3 questions part B and 3 to 4 questions part C are asked from this unit. And this unit covers taxonomic units and plants, animals and microorganisms classifications. So while studying this unit, it is important to understand the different forms of lives and their classification, and this unit requires memorization of scientific names, texts and terminologies, which can be time consuming and tedious. And specifically the subunit F, which is about organisms of conservation concern, this is in common with the conservation biology subunit of unit 10. So you can skip this unit or you can do selective study. It's completely based on your interests. And unit 12 is about applied biology, which is again a mixture of many topics. From this unit, you can expect one part B or 1 or 2 part C questions in every exam. So basically this unit carries a weightage of 8.5% in part B and 6.67% in part C. And questions are usually statement based, match the following or graph based questions, and they require conceptual clarity. And specifically questions from agrobacterium mediated transformation and technology concepts related to development of transgene and its expression levels are often asked from this unit. And even sometimes questions are asked by combining concepts from other units like unit 4 and unit 13 or unit 8. So preparation for this unit is easy, as this unit is small and has topics common with other units like about molecular markers you study in unit 8, in unit 13, then vaccines you study in unit 4, then biodiversity you study in unit 10, So you need not to prepare all the topics from this unit, but can selectively prepare this unit, emphasizing the important topics asked in the exam. And because this unit is small and easy, you can prepare it parallelly with other units. So now that you are familiar with all the units of CSIR NET syllabus, it's time to start selecting which ones to focus on. Remember, Biotecnika is always there to assist you in every step of the way. Thank you.